Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women,
and non-men and non-women,
and non-men and non-women, and
everything in between,
and everyone.
Yes.
Welcome to Keeping Up with the Cardassians. We are here. We're near to you. I don't know. I got nothing today.
Yeah.
But anyways, this is Nick.
This is Rob.
This is Joe.
And we're excited to be back. And you're saying, what? Be back?
Yeah.
You just had an episode
Guess
last
who's back?
week. Back again.
Cardi's back.
Tale of Fran. But anyways, last week was our Ronald D. Moore interview.
Yeah.
Which we had recorded about a month and a half ago.
Yeah, give or take.
So we took last week off because Nick was busy. He couldn't be here.
We took a much needed vacation.
We needed.
Wish.
I know.
We're going through separation. We're not getting along. It's very rough.
We could start the rumors for the one person that cares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could. But anyway, so we took last week off, but we're back this week. And man, I had not listened to a Ronald Moore interview since we recorded it. Really.
You didn't listen to it on Patreon when we posted it early?
No,
for our
I did
Patreon
not.
folks?
I did not listen.
Which is
to
something
it.
we do for them every once in a while.
We release stuff early for our Patreon. Hey, you should subscribe to us. Patreon, $2, $5, $10 tiers. Join it.
We got a new Patreon.
Who is it?
His name is Brian.
Brian!
Welcome, Mr.
Brian. Ooh, you got some material to catch up on.
Oh my God, he's going to be a Patreon for as long as it takes him to get through whatever we released.
Yes.
And then he's
he's
going
You might get to the cinema
to
part and go, maybe not.
Not going to do it. Not going to do it.
Or he might go, I see his point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I'm going to go to the mall.
So, anyways, we our Ronald Moore interview was fascinating. That was our most Star Trek interview that we've had.
Yes.
Which was awesome, but also one where we really dived into what it's like in the writer's room, and that's really cool. That was a really cool thing to hear about. And I tried to get phone numbers for people. It did not work out. I tried really hard, but that's okay. So anyways, with all that said, today we are back to our normal episode. What we like to do, as you know, first half of the show, we just catch up on pop culture world. There's a lot that's happened over the last couple weeks. There's been a few movies that have come out that have been interesting, and we're going to talk about those. There's been a few TV shows as well. We're going to talk about those. Then we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then after that, we have 2 episodes of Deep Space Nine to review today. The season finale is one of those. Yes. So we have The Sound of Her Voice and Tears of the Prophet. So we're going to wrap up season 6 today. We're going into 7, baby.
Wow.
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 Wow, wow, wow.
Wowzers.
Wowzers.
The end is near.
The end is nigh.
I was about to say that.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Look at you guys.
Look at us, matchies.
Oh, matchies. Anyways. So, before we get into that, there's something really important I want to talk about.
What is it, Nick?
There was a small independent flick released a little bit ago starring an actor maybe you haven't heard of, Thomas Cruzet. I think it's French. Thomas Cruzet. And it's a story about an underdog fighter dog pilot who overcomes all odds and saves the world.
I thought that was Independence Day.
Oh yeah, Bill Pullman, the president.
Yeah.
Today is so Top Gun 2, Cruise Control.
That was a working title.
Yeah,
it's a working title.
Top Gun 2, Cruise Control.
Top Gun 2.
So we were pretty excited about this movie coming out, notably
Top Gun Maverick. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we all saw it.
Even Nick saw it.
Even Nick.
So
he admittedly had never seen the first one.
No, I had seen the first one. I didn't remember it, and I watched it more recently with Eli. So first of all, okay, so my son's 11, right? It's a PG-13 movie, but that is a fairly intense love scene in that first one,
it's
man.
Awful.
It's
terrible.
really
It's
bad.
It's
The way
the worst
they're
part of the movie.
The way they're sucking each other's faces and licking each other.
The thing that makes it bad is they do it all basically in silhouette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see the outline of their lips and their tongues, and it's just they're both really bad kissers.
Well, just kink.
It's really.
I don't know. I think they're bad
it's
kissers.
Really,
I mean,
it was creepy.
Well, maybe
I
they didn't
can't-
have chemistry between the two.
honestly, I know that we at least Rob and I agree that Tom Cruise is a great actor,
Yes.
and we sort of put his personal life aside from his acting, like, and I think Nick does as well. But I can't imagine he's a good kisser just from his history. I can't imagine he's a good kisser.
I don't know.
Early in his career, a lot of he shadow
doesn't-
a lot of his.
But he doesn't do a lot of it in his films.
No, not really.
Well, a
Well,
lot of his films don't really involve it.
I mean, what, Risky Business?
Yeah. and he-
Clockwork Orange, or not Clockwork Orange.
Wow, really?
Eyes Wide Shut?
Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was
Stanley Kubrick, but wrong Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, really, like if you look at this more like A Few Good Men, not really an opportunity to kiss in that. Interview with the
I'd kiss
Vampire.
Nicholson.
The Pelican Brief.
I'd kiss Nicholson.
That wasn't him.
The Pelican Brief.
This is Denzel Washington.
He was in the first.
The Firm.
Jesus Christ.
You know what? It's the era where they were all kind of the same sorts of movies. So what am
but
I
yeah,
supposed to do?
But yeah,
about
the original kissing scene, or the original quote unquote sex scene,
yeah.
was awful. It was the worst part of the original movie, easily.
Easily. So, what'd you think?
Well, are you done with your story of showing your son the original Top Gun?
No, so he loved it. He loved the original Top Gun.
Hell yeah.
He said it's kind of cheesy. I said, buddy, it's the era. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
gotta lean into it, man. It's a different
It's
era.
86, baby.
Because like the volleyball scene came up, and he's like, "What is going on?"
Has never happened to you? Just random volleyball on jeans?
They're playing volleyball. Yeah,
Huh.
I don't know.
I love it. I love it. They're shirtless, but they're in jeans.
I know.
playing volleyball.
Can you
Hey, someone
imagine playing volleyball in jeans
No, not
in
in
the
a million years.
sand?
And they're
Nope.
like those. I mean, they're like
It's
relatively
coarse.
tight, stonewashed jeans.
Yeah, like
No forgiveness whatsoever. in
No,
those
that's
things.
'80s denim too. So you know they're not stretchy. They
No
don't give.
oh, it's just really
And you're in
uncomfortable.
that California heat, the
Yeah.
sand.
And the sand gets in those things, and you gotta try to
Oh.
peel them off.
I
Oh
forgot
my
how
God.
beautiful of a man Val Kilmer was. Though.
Yeah, he was.
He was just
He was-
chiseled
yeah.
and just
When he does that was he's just
Yeah.
so good.
he's so good. He was such a good foil and nemesis in this
But the
one.
thing, and the thing is, he really wasn't a bad. Like
No.
he was
he was just a
sort of
competitive-
set up to
yeah.
be like the nemesis to Maverick, but he really wasn't. Like, because Maverick was a renegade, like he was dangerous.
Maverick was really the antagonist
Right.
in that movie.
And he had the balls to point it out in front of everybody. Like, you're dangerous.
Yeah.
You're dangerous to yourself, and you're dangerous to Goose. You're dangerous to everybody.
Yeah.
But he was an
You know
excellent
what
pilot.
was dangerous to Goose? The canopy on that jet.
No, if there is one part where Ice is responsible, he did kill Goose.
Yeah,
Because
he did because he would.
He lingered too long trying to get the shot. His arrogance got the best of him.
But
He lingered
wasn't
too
trying
long.
to get the shot.
Yes, he was.
I think he was stalling, so Maverick couldn't get the shot.
But because there's competitive, right? So he doesn't want him to get the shot.
because he was in first place, so
Right,
if he doesn't get
exactly.
the
So there's that arrogance, that competitive nature, and he takes too long.
yeah.
Then they jet wash, and obviously Goose just shoots himself right into the canopy.
Oh gosh, could you? Does
So
he feel that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
So,
is it
yeah.
instant?
I
You don't think it's instant?
No.
No, I don't know.
I feel like it is. I'm sure he broke his neck. like,
Yeah, he
immediately.
snapped his neck. Now I don't know how instantaneous that death is, though.
I don't think it's instant, man. If I got doctors who listen to this show,
Yeah,
Anyway,
Jesus Christ.
if you have died from having ejected from a plane, please contact us.
and obviously been resurrected, we appreciate it.
I think I mentioned the last time we recorded that my son watched it for the first time.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, and he said that was a lame death scene. I think I
Yeah.
mentioned that.
I think it was a great death scene because it was so.
It was realistic.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like a over the top like we're gonna draw out this death scene. It was
Or
like
he gets shot in the canopy.
right.
You know.
And it's like what happened? Oh shit. Yeah, it was.
You got Gwen Stacy, essentially.
Yeah. So, anyways, Top Gun Maverick. All right.
Okay.
I knew I was in for something special when it was the exact same intro.
Wasn't that
Oh my
amazing?
God.
Yes.
That was
almost
so
the exact
good.
Same, but like it was so cool because it felt like back from the VHS days in the like 4K because like now it's high definition cameras
Yeah.
filming those scenes, and when like it just felt so much more real and visceral. Oh, and the same shots, complete with like the back concrete coming up to stop the flame. Oh, it was so great. And then right in the danger zone,
all the font, everything.
Except the font was slightly different.
It was
the story was slightly different.
Now, did you see the thing that they altered?
Yeah, they said like
instead of it said men, the original said men, and it says men and women.
Men and women. But then it also changed it because it's now called this, but they refer to it as Top Gun.
Yes.
Because in that it was Top Gun School.
Right.
They've changed it. Anyway.
But I was watching that opening sequence going, oh.
Yep.
Man, that was great. I said, are they going into Kenny Loggins? Are they going into Kenny Loggins?
Well, that was my thing. Is I was going into it. I'm like, okay, I wasn't sure if they would do the beginning, but I said they have to have the Top Gun theme, and it would be cool if they had maybe a song or two from the original in there. If at least the Top Gun theme, and maybe like Danger Zone somewhere, or if they had another like volleyball scene or like a sports scene, if they used Playing with the Boys.
There's spoilers in this, by the way, people.
Nobody listening cares. Oh,
you never know.
Spoilers.
Hold on. What rules did we set? We gave 1 week, right?
We gave 1 week.
Yep.
And
So
we're 2 weeks out.
We're at least 2 weeks out.
Yeah.
We're over 2 weeks out now. So we don't have to say spoilers, but there will be, and there have been.
And there is.
But yeah, when you hear the theater goes dark and it just hears like the doom.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, this is what I came for.
Mm-hmm.
And it just...
You're like, bravo, new director.
Yes,
I don't know
perfect.
your name.
Perfect.
Did you like how Jennifer Connelly played a character just briefly mentioned in the first one? Did you catch that?
I didn't catch that, actually.
Penny. So at the very beginning of the movie, they're talking about how he buzzed the tower on the Admiral to impress the Admiral's daughter.
Yeah,
Penny.
and one Admiral's daughter, yes.
I did not catch that.
So when he and Goose go in, and he sent him to Top Gun.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's listing off the shit that he's done, and one Admiral's daughter. He's like, Penny? He's like...
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. That's a nice deep cut.
Yep.
So it's a nice way to tie that in, because they're like, Kelly McGinnis, no, we're not going to put you in this one.
Okay, so I'm not here to rag on anybody's looks or anything.
But you're about to?
But I'm about to.
All right.
I'm going to... Two things. One, Tom Cruise does not age.
No.
Two, Kelly McGinnis took Tom Cruise's aging process with hers.
He's like a succubus, and he just steals their youth.
Because she aged not very gracefully.
I haven't seen her, so...
She aged very hard.
Yeah.
She did.
She doesn't look...
Jennifer Connelly didn't.
No, Jennifer Connelly looked
because
fantastic in
Jennifer
this
Connelly
movie.
lives in a different era where plastic surgery was more acceptable for actresses.
Yeah, and I'm not even necessarily talking about like Kelly McGillis needed plastic surgery or anything like that. I'm just talking like physically. Her physical appearance is significantly different than it was. Obviously,
you almost want to know it's the same person.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't look like an older version of her. It looks like a completely different person.
Gotcha.
I would agree with that.
You know what I mean?
It does not look like her anymore. Yeah, I get that. But, what are your thoughts about the tie-in with Rooster there?
I have one complaint about this movie, and I think it's the same complaint Mr. Rob has.
What is that?
The scene where they steal the plane. Where they steal the plane.
Yeah.
That was a little too. That
was a little too.
It's too much. It's too much.
They were hitting dingers every single time, and then I was like, all right, okay, whatever.
And then we're gonna say it. It's gonna sound ridiculous because the whole movie really is, but it was cartoony.
Yeah.
Well, it was right.
Yeah.
The whole movie is
G.I.
based.
Joey.
The movie is based around realism, and here they go. This F-14 that's been mothballed, sitting in a hangar, they can just take off like right away.
And the fact that these two American pilots can just run across while there's chaos going around.
I mean, I could see that.
I could see that as feasible because people being distracted. I could get that, but the whole fact that they stole the plane and got away. Come on.
And I have one other small gripe.
You said you had one. That's it. That was your one.
But I have one that's not necessarily a gripe, but it's a plot point that they could have done differently, and I'd have been okay. They could have killed Maverick, and I would have been.
I would agree. I agree. I thought he was dead.
I really thought he was going to die in this.
You've been calling it your shot for weeks.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? God damn it, Nick was right.
Yeah.
And it would have been a good death.
It really would have
It
been.
really
would've
would have fit.
Yep.
I actually think it took a little bit away from the movie that he didn't die.
Maybe.
A little bit.
I don't
Because
think
then you had the steal the plane scene.
Yeah. I don't necessarily think it took away from the movie, but it could have been a different plot point, and I think it would have maybe been as good or possibly better.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking about this. I think if he would have died there, that hurts the arc for Rooster.
Right.
It hurts his arc a little bit because now there's this. Not only did his father die, but his surrogate father died as well.
He could have died in the cockpit, kind of a cheap way, like you were saying earlier, when they were escaping. Something could have happened to him in the cockpit. He could have been injured while he was on the ground.
I know, but I think that hurts the story in the grand
I don't
scheme.
think they're going to kill him in the cockpit. That's too much like the first one. That's a feather in this movie's cap. Is for as similar as it is to the first, it didn't feel like they were just pulling. Okay, we're going to take this, and this, and now we're going to make a new version, which is what The Force Awakens did with A New Hope.
Yes.
I misspoke a little bit. So he got injured when he first went down.
Yeah.
They get on the aircraft carrier and realize he's bleeding all over creation. Then he dies. It gives the character time to reconcile with Rooster.
I think any death on his part hurts that, but
I want him to die.
I think it's in his contract that he wasn't going to,
Yeah.
or else he's not doing this movie.
But to go with what you were saying earlier about Iceman in the first one, about how he was not a bad guy, like he was still a great pilot, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was the best pilot.
He was
won
the
Top
Top
Gun.
Gun.
Here you have the antagonist actually being Hangman, who really wasn't like. He's a good pilot, but like he was basically Maverick. He bailed on his wingman any chance he could get.
Yeah.
He hung him out to dry, which I think was an intentional move to have a character that basically is like a younger version of Maverick. And he's even saying, "Don't leave your wingman. Don't leave your wingman."
Yeah. Well, and a lot of what people are saying, Hangman gets a lot of love in this movie from like people who are watching it.
I thought it was good.
Yeah. I thought it was good.
I liked all the characters. I liked the female pilot as well. I can't remember what her name was. Gosh, that's
the only. What are the? I forget all the call signs because that's another thing is I thought the call signs were
Bob. I loved Bob.
Bob was great. Bob was great, but the
it's
call
like that
signs,
Deadpool 2 character.
Yeah.
but the call signs were good. Not great. They were good. I thought Rooster was great.
Yeah.
Hangman was great. Bob was great.
You had Cyclone, who was John Hamm's character. Hangman, Bob, Hammer. Oh, that's Ed Harris's character. Phoenix.
That was her.
That was her.
I like that one.
How good is that?
Payback. Payback is actually pretty.
Payback is a good one.
Fanboy. I didn't like that
and
one.
Coyote.
Well, he's a nerd.
I know, but I don't know. Now, the one thing I did love is, did you look at Hangman's helmet?
Yes.
The A's were gone.
Well, I think both A's were gone. Yep.
Yep.
Like you're playing Hangman. I thought that was a nice little touch.
Mm-hmm. You know what's in this? This was the first major role for that the actress who was Phoenix.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Monica Barbaro is her
Really?
name.
Is it the first? It was the first major role for.
A couple of these kids.
Not for Miles Teller.
No.
Oh, really?
What else was he in?
Miles Teller's been in a lot.
I've never heard of him.
Joking.
Oh.
I know. So am I.
Sorry, I was looking at Monica Barbaro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What else? What else? So what did you not like, Nick? Were there critiques?
I would say that scene where they stole the jet was the biggest one for me. Now, here's the funny thing about that. I like the idea of them having to be in an old fighter pilot.
Back in the F-14?
I like that idea. I like the idea that all of a sudden now that the kid is in that back seat with him,
Dad?
Seeing what his dad saw. I loved that. It's just the way they went about making it happen. There had to be some other way they could have made it happen.
Okay, so that's my major critique, but here's why it's not the worst thing. Because if you paid attention, so Maverick is flying and Rooster's in the back of the F-14, right? Just like Maverick and Goose.
Yeah.
The dialogue that Rooster was saying mirrored the dialogue that Goose would say.
Yes.
This is not good, not good.
Yep.
Like a lot of the lines were the exact same. He talked to Maverick the exact same way that his dad did from the same position.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay,
and
that's
it's feasible.
really cool.
Those are things he would really say without knowing what his dad said. Obviously,
Right.
Exactly.
So it was. I liked those little nuances. I loved like the dialogue, and I don't know. It was. It's my least favorite plot point, but it's not. It didn't take too much away from the film.
Here's my controversial opinion about it, though.
Mm-hmm.
I like this better than the first
I
one.
knew that's what you were gonna say.
I like it better.
100%. I knew that's what you were gonna say.
I already said that.
I liked it better.
Well, I don't. I'm an original guy, but
I would give the first one an 8 out of 10. This one's like a 9 for me.
okay.
And really, it could have been a perfect film if not for that scene.
It would. Now, this movie, the great thing about this movie is it does reward you for being familiar with the first film.
Yep, I'm glad I watched it the day before.
But it is not a prerequisite.
No, not at all.
No, you could go without it.
This film stands on its own.
Yeah.
It is a great sequel. I'll tell you. I read something somewhere. I think it was Twitter. Somebody said this is the greatest sequel since Die Hard 3.
Die Hard 3 was good.
And I was like, I thought for a second, I'm like, that's probably pretty accurate.
Yeah.
It's got a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's a damn good movie.
It really, really is.
And on its own, it's a damn good movie.
Yeah.
And then knowing all of everything that went into the movie, filming it, the research, the training that these pilots went through,
And actually, practical
effects,
What you
using
know I
actual
love.
planes,
Yep.
Having them actually fly their scenes, like
And do the camera work.
yeah.
While in it. Oh, man.
Now, could you do any of could you do any of what they were doing?
10 Gs?
Well, no. Do you think you could do any of this training? Like, how far into the training?
Well, I can't do the water part.
Yeah, no.
I can't do that. But outside of that, I think I can do some of it, not all of it.
It was intense. It was intense.
Well, you saw the Tom Cruise took up James Corden?
Yeah,
Corden.
Oh my God, that was
that was a part I was going to add about this film is they did a better job making it feel more realistic for the pilot. Like just watching the way they were breathing in the planes, and you could see the stress on their bodies. They did a better job in Maverick than they did with the first half.
because there's a camera in the cockpit. Yeah,
camera in the cockpit. Different filmmaking techniques. It's changed. Like
I thought
they did okay.
I thought the first one was good, especially in the beginning when Cougar freaks out. Like you could really feel the stress. Like he was super stressed.
Yeah.
And the heartbeat music and just sort of the way that the camera sways back and forth, you could really feel it was stressful. But the other flying scenes, they were good. They were good action scenes, but it didn't put you in the cockpit as well as these ones did.
Yeah.
Or these scenes in Maverick.
Yeah. But anyways, I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
What would you give it out of 10? Nick said 9.
it's up there. If not 9, 8.5.
I say 9.5. Yeah.
9.5. Wow.
Yeah.
With the first one being a 10 to you?
Yeah. The first one is one of my favorite movies of all time.
I called it.
And I don't think that's any secret.
I love this movie a lot more than I did the first.
Yeah.
It was everything, literally everything I wanted this movie to be.
Plus, I got a Mission Impossible trailer before it. I mean, come on.
Jennifer Connelly looked good too.
It
doesn't look like Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, it does. Just she's thinner.
Okay, I do have one more critique, which really isn't that big of a critique. The sex scene the quote unquote romantic scene was even worse in this movie than it was.
Oh, I thought they just kind of like.
I thought it was just a quickie.
It was. They just insinuated that it had a romantic night.
And then the next morning they woke up together, or later.
Yeah, it was even more cheesy than the first.
You know what I was hoping for is when she was pushing him out the window. I was hoping for him to make an old joke, but I feel like Tom Cruise would never make an old joke about himself. Like, I'm too old to be jumping out of these windows.
Oh no,
because he's 60 years old.
Age or height, those are off.
Although in this movie, give them credit, they showed he was short.
Yes,
they did.
And stand up all these other pilots.
And they did mention it, like old man who's the old timer.
Yeah.
And they had like crowd surfed him and threw him out. So they did. There were some things where it's like Tom Cruise almost is on this. He exists on this pedestal.
Yeah.
that he doesn't get off of very often, and I thought he was humbled a little bit in this film, more than I expected him to be. Not that, not that they made fun of him, but he wasn't like he's notorious, not revered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Tom Cruise the last movie star?
Going?
Well,
no.
Who's left?
The Rock.
That's fair.
You could look at Jennifer Lawrence as a huge star. She draws. Chris Pratt draws people.
No,
I don't know. Look at numbers.
Action? Are you thinking action movie star or just movie star?
In general, look at their numbers. I'm just saying. Can The Rock although Rock's in everything.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a bad example.
All of his movies are hits.
Yeah, The Rock. The Rock is an A+ movie star right now.
All right.
Right now, I looked up top 100 stars in leading roles in the worldwide box office. You got Scarlett Johansson.
I was gonna say
Robert Downey. I mean, you're gonna have all Marvel.
All
Robert Downey Jr. Doolittle.
Samuel L. Jackson. Chris Hemsworth. Chris Evans.
Okay, so to me,
Tom Hanks is in there.
Tom
Hanks.
That's a good one.
Anything he's in is usually either good.
Does well.
Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise. I'm going in order. Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, Johnny Depp, Tom Holland. Tom Holland,
you might be right.
Yeah.
Then again,
I think Tom Holland's on the upswing
what
too.
was the movie? Uncharted. They did Uncharted. I liked Uncharted,
I did
but
too.
that
It was fun.
bombed.
It bombed?
It absolutely
Yeah, it
bombed.
did.
It was fun.
I generally don't like films that are based on video games.
Did you watch this one?
No.
Uncharted. It's fun.
It's fun. It's
worth
like
a watch.
Because
It's
from the trailers,
it's like National Treasure.
Okay, those are decent.
It really is. It's National Treasure.
It's really good. I thought I really had a good time watching it.
I'll stream it then.
So I'm struggling to find actors or actresses who are younger who are in like the top 25. Which makes sense. I mean,
I think Jennifer Lawrence is a good name. Is a good on the female side. That's a huge.
Daniel Radcliffe, but that's mainly because of Harry Potter. I mean, because it's going by box office numbers.
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman, I think he would have continued to become.
I think so too.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's all Marvel actors.
Michael B. Jordan,
but I don't think he draws people to movies.
I'm thinking, you have to, my mom knows who Tom Cruise is. My mom knows who Scarlett Johansson. Jesus Christ.
Right, but we're talking give or take, how old was your mom in the mid '80s?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
No
I mean,
so like 35 years ago.
So,
she was,
so what you're asking?
My son knows who Tom Cruise is.
No, but what you're
because
asking?
Who was his dad?
On. What you're asking is, in 30 years, what star from today will still have star power?
That's a good way to spin it.
That's what you're really asking. So in the year 2052, wow, what star?
The future.
Like 2052, is Elizabeth Olsen still a big deal? Is Jennifer Lawrence still a big deal?
Probably.
Is Tom Holland still a big deal? I think he will be.
Well, yeah, he's 12. So
yeah.
So I think
he's got shelf life left.
He'll be 41.
Yeah.
I mean, then you have other ones like Zendaya and.
I think that's a good one.
I think Zendaya is a good one.
Yep.
Now, the problem is she's a woman, and we know how Hollywood feels about older women.
Okay, I'm thankful you. I'm thankful you finished your sentence.
So for female actresses, man, they cut you out as soon as you hit 35 for the most part, right?
No, if you're white, you're good.
Yeah, I know. That's Jennifer Connelly here.
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence.
Helen Mirren.
Jennifer Lawrence is still below 35.
No, I'm talking in the future when she ages.
In the future. Helen Mirren, Meryl Streep.
Hollywood loves old white women.
Ryan Gosling.
He's an old white woman?
Sorry, I was thinking of another guy.
Ryan Gosling will be the Ryans will be fine. Both Ryans.
You don't think Ryan Reynolds will run thin by then?
No, I think he's a very smart person.
Because he's an everyman. Everyone loves him. Emma Stone. I could see her being a distinguished actress.
You have an unexplainable disdain for Emma Stone that I have yet to be figured. I can't figure it out as the duration of our friendship. I've never been able to figure this out.
How some people say Tom Cruise has a punchable face, and this person has a punchable face.
Everything about Emma Stone is.
I think she has a punchable face.
No, she's amazing. No. She's perfect.
I'm not going to do it. I'm just saying.
I love her so much.
Equality. You go ahead and do it, but I don't think. I disagree.
Emma Stone. So anyway, she's 33. So 30 years from now, she's 63. I could picture her being like an actress, in the same stratosphere as as like a Meryl Streep.
Get out of here.
Not as
Meryl,
big as Meryl
okay,
Streep.
I was
but
gonna say Meryl Streep is like she's royal. She's
still
like
nailing
Hollywood
down
royalty.
those big roles. Who's a good one? Kate Winslet. She still knocks down roles, and
Yeah,
it's true.
she's in her 40s now.
I know she isn't as big of a star, but I think she will have this. I think she'll have this average level star trajectory that won't falter too much. And she was in the newsroom. No, not the news. She was Peggy in Mad Men. What's her name?
And she's in Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, Handmaid's Tale.
Elizabeth Moss.
Yes, I think she will stay. I don't think she'll drop. I don't think she'll rise too much from where she is, but I think she will stay about where she is.
She will always be that super appreciated actress that people want. When she's in a role, people want to watch it.
Yep, but she won't be like a superstar. She'll be very, very consistently above average in everything she does for a long time.
And she doesn't need to be a superstar. That's kind of what helps her. She's not overexposed.
Yep.
And I appreciate that about
and
her.
she seems to choose roles that have longevity, but that are very well in her wheelhouse.
Right, and require her to really have acting chops, too.
Yes.
I like the remake they did of The Invisible Man with her in it. I love that one. Did you see that one?
I didn't even know there was a remake.
It was good in 2020. It came out in 2020 with her. It was really good. It was really good.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
Literally not a lot.
Right, I know. Movie came out in 2020.
Ballsy move.
Yep.
Yeah. So, anyways.
One thing about Maverick that we did not talk about, that we have to, that everybody's seen. How much did he look like his dad? Rooster.
They did a good job.
They did a great job with that.
Miles Teller was perfectly cast.
The haircut.
Here's the thing. I got a little crush on that dude.
Do you?
Yeah.
Miles Teller?
Yes.
Yeah.
He is a handsome man.
He is.
I liked his character. I like the dude. I like him. Perfect casting. Great mustache.
God, there's no such thing as a great mustache.
Yes, there is.
He had a great mustache.
Unless you're Tom Selleck.
He had a great mustache.
He had a great mustache.
Yeah.
And the pianos, everything was great. It
yes.
was so good.
That was one of my favorite scenes, actually, when he hears him playing the piano and he turns... Now, they did do the weird montage show, and now, I get that. That's for if you've never seen it.
No, there's that, too, but your mind, if you were actually Maverick in that scene, that would trigger a memory.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Now, how did you guys... I know that we wrapped it up, but how did you feel about the plot point that Maverick pulled his application?
And it was because the mom asked him to.
I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with that because the mom said, "Don't." I get that. The mom.
I do, but also I think they had to write that in because of his age.
You think so?
Because he was older.
Because it was 86,
right?
Which is what 30. So I'm assuming, based on the history of this film's release, I'm assuming that these events take place in around 2019.
Yeah.
So that's what 33 years.
Yeah. So he'd be older for a pilot.
And he was what, like, we're going to say 2?
Yep.
Maybe 3 when he was on the piano playing, when he was in the bar?
Yeah.
So he's in his mid-30s?
And he actually is 35.
Yeah. So I think they had to throw that in
to justify
his age. Because I think he was a little older than Maverick and Goose were in the original.
Didn't they have to throw that in to kind of justify more of the angst towards Maverick?
I think he could just have angst by the fact that he was in the plane when his dad died.
More angst.
But I thought,
and he has a reputation. So
and I thought that plot point was organic enough to work.
Yeah,
it didn't feel forced.
I love the way they did that.
It would be criminal if we forget to talk about Iceman in this movie.
Yes, that was my next point. That was my last point was going to be Iceman.
All right, cool.
How did you guys feel? How did you feel about his scene, or that? How did you feel about his arc in that film?
I loved it, and I really loved that scene. Knowing what you guys told me last time we were together about his can't speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I
got choked up.
Yeah, I like that he took Maverick under his wing after all that,
and was his guardian angel.
Yeah.
And
Maverick was still dangerous, and he recognized talent.
Yeah.
And friendship, or whatever you want to call it.
I like that they incorporated the not talk. Like, he was texting him, so you didn't really know, right? Unless you're... I mean, obviously, if anybody who follows this quote-unquote franchise
would know,
would know, but, like, you're like, oh, okay, he's just texting. That's normal. We're just text, and then you see that he has cancer, and they integrate his actual life into the film because to have him in, you would have to. But the fact that he actually spoke, was huge.
Did he? I think that
was digitally.
Was
done.
it?
Yeah.
I think that's what I heard.
Oh,
man on the computer's gonna find out.
All right,
but if he did,
well, either one, I'm still okay with it. The embrace I thought was very genuine.
They recreated his voice using AI.
From his actual voice, or
probably.
Okay, well then he actually had to speak then to do the lines, right?
From the past.
They would take his old.
They took his old voice.
And how old?
Probably whatever he has on film.
Yeah.
What were his lines? I forget his lines.
Yeah, he lost the ability to speak in 2014.
That long ago?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Holy crap.
Where the hell have you been?
How did I not know any of that?
Well, you're a Tom Cruise fanboy. You're not necessarily
I'm not
a Val
Tom Cruise
Kilmer
fanboy.
Well,
all
remember,
right.
He makes good movies.
There was an era where it was
that's what your call sign would be.
And there was an era where it was super popular to crap
fuck you.
on Val Kilmer because he had gotten overweight and everything, and people were ripping on him like, "Oh, he used to be Batman," and then because he was kind of forgotten, like he was kind of written off. So.
I love the scene.
Me too.
I didn't even mind that they killed him.
No, I think it was good for the story actually.
Yeah,
it worked.
It worked perfectly.
And gave that character closure when you don't know if they make a third. Let's say you don't know if he's being around. Plus, it gave them a reason to get Maverick kicked out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was again.
It all worked.
Everything about it worked. Even the critiques are just like, they could have done.
They're minor critiques
right.
in the grand. I mean, the only major critique is
that
stealing the F-14, but I liked it. But I just didn't feel like it belonged in there.
No.
That belongs in a Mission Impossible movie.
Yes.
And it belongs in a
Bond movie.
A Bond movie, yeah. It doesn't belong in Top Gun.
Yep.
But that's okay.
But you could definitely tell Christopher McQuarrie had a hand in this thing.
You could.
Yeah.
You could.
He's like, that guy can write.
You could.
So we putting a bow on Top Gun Maverick?
I think we got it. I mean, we're already at 40 minutes, and we haven't even talked about Star Trek.
That's okay.
It's okay. Take a lot of time talking about.
We got to talk about one more thing that's topical.
Well, we got one episode that's going to take a while, and one episode that we can absolutely skip.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
The Black Adam trailer.
Yes, I put it in my notes.
Go for it.
I liked it.
I liked it. I don't know.
Hey, how do you feel about?
Well, hold on. That's the thing. The Black Adam trailer is awesome. It's great. I want to see the movie. I think it's a great direction for DC.
In spite of?
Not in spite of. Because of.
What?
I am officially lifting my boycott of The Rock.
Woo!
And not only am I lifting my boycott, I'm here to say that I'm on the Rock bandwagon.
Tell us about it.
So you're riding that rock?
Yes, I am.
Tell us.
It's not the Black Adam trailer or anything else. It is following him on Instagram.
So you were following him on Instagram. Were you hate following him originally?
No. Honestly, it was like, I don't know. I follow a lot of health and fitness, workout people on Instagram.
Oh, look at me, I'm fit, I'm Joe.
No, I like to get ideas of how to...
a piece of pizza.
Yeah, I'm going to live vicariously through him. That's why I watch him.
Yeah, I know. I'm kidding.
But I watched for ideas and variety, and it just comes up because he has the most badass home gym. Obviously, the Rock would have the greatest home gym ever.
Of course he does.
And then he's just a cool dude. He's a good dude. You see him kicking back with his tequila, which I'm here to admit is decent.
It's decent.
Yeah.
What a glowing advertisement. It's decent.
It is. It's.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't give out awards for tequila, but I will drink it. It's good.
I'll give out awards.
That's me.
Very good.
I don't really know how to judge a good tequila.
Yeah.
I know how to judge a bad tequila.
It's all about how it burns.
Oh yeah.
If it burns, not very good.
It doesn't burn.
Yeah, I
good.
know.
I've had it a number of times here. But he's. I don't know. No, he doesn't say no to anything. He takes every project that comes his way.
Who's he owe money to? That's the question.
I don't know. He's out fishing in his backyard, which he has he's basically built a lake in his backyard.
Naturally.
But he feeds it with environment. It's all environmentally friendly. It's all. He has people working on the ecosystem, so he makes sure that whatever fish are there are the population is kept where it should be. I don't know. He's just a good dude, and it's through following him on Instagram that I've come to appreciate him. And it's not necessarily that I appreciate him as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
It's as a person, and now I'm like, okay, I'll go see Black Adam. I like the way I liked your fishing video on Instagram. I'm gonna go see Black Adam.
And he's not a bad actor. I mean, he's not great, but
he's The Rock.
He plays the same role every time. But I think Black Adam will be slightly different for him though, because he's not going to be the witty, funny guy.
They're gonna work it in there.
I mean, they kind of have to because DC is trying to over course correct to be like Marvel.
How do we know that? Did you just watch the Batman? That's the only movie they've released.
The Batman is like an Elseworlds Batman. It's not supposed to be in their shared universe.
Yeah, it's not. So, speaking of more DC stuff, so what, Black Adam is good?
Yeah, I'm good on Black Adam. I thought it was a good trailer.
You're gonna stop. I mean, I'll see it.
I'll see it.
I'm gonna wear my Rock t-shirt. Let's get a Rock t-shirt.
You're gonna be like all in.
Oh yeah.
It's like me 3 years ago.
I'm gonna Rock.
3 years ago, I hated Apple and everything they represented. Now every single thing I own is Apple products. Everything.
I still hate Apple.
Oh, I love it.
But I have to own the crap.
I love it.
So more DC. Did you see that Joker 2 was teased?
I did.
Yeah. And they got Todd Phillips back, and
Yep.
they got Joaquin Phoenix.
I'm excited. First one was great.
Yeah, the first one was great.
First one was
Can you say that was
depressing.
great? Like,
I mean,
how do you review that movie?
it's depressingly great.
Yeah.
Did you want to call the people in your life that you love and let them know you love them? That means it was.
I wanted to donate to like mental health organizations. I mean, it's a great film. It's a great piece of film.
Yeah.
The subject was incredibly stark and realistic. And it takes place. It's supposed to take place in the 70s.
The soundtrack was chilling.
And we're now almost. I mean, we're getting to the point where we're 50 years later from the 70s.
Jesus Christ.
50 years.
Isn't that crazy?
And we still take mental health not too much more seriously than they did in this film.
No.
Have I covered this in the show? Well, that's the only movie where you got up afterwards. Everything was dead silent. You kind of looked around and you were afraid to make eye contact with people.
Yeah, you're like...
It's like you were violated during that movie.
Yeah.
So I saw that movie, what was that, 2019? That was right before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
We had a men's retreat at our church, and we all went, on this retreat. Some people went golfing, some people went fishing, and there was a group of us who were like, let's go to the movies, let's go see the Joker together. So it was like 8 of us, right? And this men's retreat was all like supposed to be like the spiritual high and all this stuff.
Hey,
we get done with the movie, and it was. We were like all silent on the car ride home. We're like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, I don't know what to.
So I have a similar story. But I rented it during the pandemic, the very beginning of the pandemic, like March 2020. As soon as everything was like schools and stuff were shut down, I went to Family Video and I rented like 4 or 5 movies. I'm like, okay, if we're gonna be in the house,
pour a little liquor out that place.
Yeah, any video store, but especially.
Oh, Video Exclusive still open?
Yeah, you got your little mom and pop, but there's no. I mean, are all Family Videos done?
They're gone.
Yeah, so we're in the era where there's no chain video stores anymore.
No.
Even the last of the chain video stores is now an independent. The last Blockbuster is now just one.
Yep.
So it's. But yeah, so I rented a bunch of movies, Joker included, and I watched it with my newly turned 13-year-old son.
Wow.
And we drove back that night to return the movies, and I'm like, we got to talk about what we just saw.
Dad mode.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is the feel-good movie of the year.
Yeah. I'm like, well, what did you think about that? And like, that was a lot. I was anticipating it being dark, but I did not know that it would be that dark.
Yeah.
And 13, that's pretty stark for 13.
Yeah.
And like, there was no hope in that film. There's no hope.
No.
It doesn't end with a happy resolution.
No, there's no silver lining. No, not a thread of silver.
I even want to joke and say, what are you talking about? It was a great movie. It was fun. But I can't even do it. I can't. No, I can't.
So
I just gotta call my mom and tell her I love her now.
Yeah. So that's it for DC news that I got. I got one more piece of news. I'm bringing the news out.
All right.
It's Star Trek related.
Okay.
Get all of your Netflix Deep Space Nine
by
watching
July 1st.
in by July 1st because July 1st, she gone, baby.
That's the last one, too. All the other ones have already been taken off the air.
have
Digital
DVDs.
video discs.
Yeah.
Which is the way that I prefer to watch them.
Did I give you season 7?
Yes, I have season 7. But yeah, so July 1st, it's gone. And that's the last one. Then everything will be on Paramount Plus.
Yep. Except for the movies, which aren't on Paramount Plus. I think.
They are. I just watched Star Trek.
Oh, they are? Okay. Gotcha. Just wanted to make sure.
Are they
Okay.
on Hulu and Hulu or
They're on
Netflix?
one. They're on something.
Yeah, that might be going too. But I know that Deep Space Nine is gone.
Gone.
July 1st. So
She gone?
Last Man Standing.
yep. So this is what this is. You're listening to this probably June 13th at the earliest. So you have like a little over 2 weeks to binge the best of Star Trek.
Get it done. Get it done.
So that's all I've got for news. What did you gentlemen?
I brought some of that.
I just think it's funny.
Time.
I know. I just think it's funny because I'm generally the one who doesn't bring any news, and I just react.
You can just say you don't bring anything to the table.
That's
not necessarily true.
You know what news I do bring? Do you know what I'm going to say?
Huey Lewis and the news?
Do you know what I'm going
Because
to
that
say?
would be great.
I bring news that we're 45 minutes in, and we need to take a commercial break. Well, in fact, we've probably already taken a couple.
Yeah. Debbie Downer over here. You know what we could talk about? Strange New Worlds.
We don't. I prefer to keep our episodes under 2 hours if we can.
We've been short the past few weeks. We got to catch up.
We could do this another time because I haven't watched.
You're
we're
behind.
recording this on Friday, so I haven't seen today's episode, and I haven't seen last week's episode. I'm
The
too behind.
Spock-a-mock.
Yeah.
Spock-a-mock. Spock.
I'm sorry. I'm at a level of exhaustion that is unrivaled at any other point in my lifetime.
Yeah. I get
And
you.
I just had to watch. I had to force myself to watch one of these episodes of Star Trek, Deep Space Nine,
Yeah.
and I watched the other one twice. And then I watched Star Trek 4, and I have Seinfeld to watch.
Hey, what's the deal with Star Trek?
He's a Superman guy. Is he still?
Yeah,
yes.
he's Superman.
Superman.
And
That was my
Batman gets a mention too.
During the Star Trek 4, when we're going to record, I got some Superman stuff to cover.
Okay.
Star Trek gets mentioned in Seinfeld.
Does it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wrath of Khan.
Isn't Jason Alexander a Star Trek guy?
Yes, he was in Voyager.
Yeah.
So,
So is The Rock.
Yes, he was.
yep.
He played a wrestler.
Tunkatse,
Yeah.
that episode.
Oh, nice.
I don't know why I remember that, but I do.
You're really going to let us just keep going, aren't you?
No, I'm not. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. All right. So this was probably the second commercial break you actually had, but that's the only one where we actually played you in and out of it. So deal with it, folks. So we got 2 episodes to review today, and we're going to do our Season 6 wrap-up. So, yes, if you're just tuning in for the first time, yes, it is 47 minutes before we even talk Star Trek. I'm sorry about that.
No, he covered some.
The sound of her voice. The sound of her voice. Defiance on the way home, they get a distress call from a captain who's stranded on the planet. They're on their way to get there, but they might not make it in time. She's running out of air. So the whole crew takes turns talking with her, and basically she counsels them through everything. They get to the planet to rescue her, and they can't... Whoa, where the heck is she? Oh, crap, she's dead. Somehow, she had been dead for 3 years. Somehow, they explained it by something with the atmosphere. So that, whatever. Meanwhile, Odo is taking Kira on their 1-month anniversary because Quark wants to do some shenanigans, and he can only do that if he distracts Odo. So he distracts Odo, but then Odo wasn't going to necessarily play into what Quark wanted. Quark complains about it to Jake, saying, "Man, I've always been so sweet to him, and this is how he repays me." And Odo decides to repay him and lets him get away with stealing something. The end.
Selling something.
Yes, because it's a business.
Yeah, it's crystals.
So that, to me, was the best part of the whole
The
episode.
B story?
The B story.
Yeah.
That B story was really good.
This A story was hot garbage.
This A story was...
Mostly yes. There was something I liked about it, but mostly yes.
I liked how this person helped the crew reflect on how different this war has made all of them.
I appreciate that plot point, but the reflection. But please, can you do it in a way that's actually like...
Makes
They
me
have
wanna
somebody
watch it.
from the future or past
Past.
doing it. I know it's past, but it's like... how are they interacting in real time? Like the way that they explained it all
Science.
sucked.
Well, and this is what I
No,
don't get.
no.
They were on an 8-year
Science
mission,
fiction.
right? They were on an 8-year mission. Couldn't
Exactly. That's how they did it.
Wouldn't they have looked them up in the computer and been like, "Oh, they've been gone. They've been missing for 3 years."
That's probably the best point you can make. Got to suspend disbelief if you can.
I mean,
because I thought this. We all thought that too.
It's fine or what. It just this was a very weak way to explain this. They could have done it in some way where they just didn't make it in time, and I thought that would have been just fine too. They didn't make it in time.
It was unnecessary for her to be 3 years in the past.
No, she could have just died.
Yeah.
And it would have meant more to the crew.
See, I kind of like that she was in the past and communicating through the future if it had been executed better, leading up to it. I actually think they're talking to a dead person. Think about that. They're talking to a dead person before they even got there.
They're dead. They're all dead.
Thank you.
But
nice work.
You're welcome.
But why?
But I don't.
It's dumb.
It's dumb. It was a dumb plot point.
Here, let me read my notes for you guys. Verbatim. Dumb. Boring. Stupid premise. Unnecessary. Waste of time.
It was Deborah Wilson though, from Mad TV.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still.
But Cisco is having relationship problems because he doesn't want to work with his girlfriend.
Well,
which I get that. That's good. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't like how they just all of a sudden. I did like his girlfriend calling him out though with Bashir.
Yeah.
I like him when he talks more, and she's like, "Prick." Like that wasn't nice.
You were being mean.
And he's like, "I was kidding," and she's like, "No, you weren't." That was nice.
In all fairness, I think we all like Bashir better this way.
No, I felt like they made that happen too quick. Like every other character's arcs made sense.
I think it took time. I think it took 2 full seasons before he started to calm down.
I mean, but they made him.
Yeah.
They made him to the point where he's not talking to anyone now, and I'm like, that's not
Not
him.
sure because he talks to O'Brien and Jadzia and.
No, he talks to O'Brien sometimes.
He talks to O'Brien all the time. That's the implication of their relationship.
Yeah, but he sort of, I don't know, like fawns over Jadzia in a reflective way that like he doesn't say anything. He just laments that he's not with her, and that part is like, yeah, I guess because Worf's a dork. He's such a square, man. Like Worf,
opposites attract.
I guess. I mean, if you got 2 dicks,
I'm gonna guess there's an appeal to that.
Yeah.
If you use it,
but he's genetically enhanced.
Yeah, he is.
So if anybody can compete with him, right?
What if that's the one thing his parents didn't genetically enhance on him?
Oh my gosh, the poor
juvenile. But really, Worf is a dork, and not in the like, oh, I'm a nerd, I'm cool, a dork.
But he actually thinks he's cool. Like that's kind of part of my problem with Worf. I honor him, a Cleon, I'm a strong warrior, and it's like,
no,
he is.
He isn't though. What did I text?
Compared to
what did I text you guys? What did I text you guys?
Something about him sucking.
I said Worf's a pussy.
Something about his 2 dicks.
I said Worf's a pussy. He is. He is. As far as Klingons go.
Oh, that's right, because you could take him in the Jemadar camp. That's right.
Yeah, I could
when
easily.
He fought all those Jemadar. The other clansmen slaughtered.
He was the only.
Those were like Jem'Hadar in training. They weren't even really fully realized Jem'Hadar.
Isn't it funny though that him and
First Contact.
Him and Jadzia were the only ones who didn't really get a story arc with this captain.
Well, obviously.
Well, one of them isn't going to get a story arc because
he's a wet blanket.
No, because they're negotiating their contract and it's not going to work out.
How obvious was that shot at the end when they're like, one of us is not going to be here?
Oh my gosh!
And they shot Jadzia and Worf,
and then you have Cisco in the back going,
he's
winking. Yeah. Oh my gosh!
I got issues. I got issues with how they've handled the whole Jadzia thing.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get.
I know it's next episode, but I mean, now that we know what happens, like they've really, because obviously it's not like they knew what was going to happen to her leading up to the last filming
about
of
halfway through the season.
So
Yeah,
and
the
they
one
really
episode where they should have killed her should have been. What?
Oh yeah, we all agree on that.
Yeah, but that was the episode they found out.
Yeah.
So, anything else from this episode? I mean, I do think there was some redeemable parts. I think it was really poorly executed as an episode, but I liked the B story. I liked the conversation with O'Brien about pushing people away. Same thing with. I
liked how it showed how another episode where it shows where they're really kind of worn down by the war.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cisco's conversations with her were the least interesting. With Captain Cusack.
I agree.
I mean, they weren't bad, but they weren't great.
I liked. I thought obviously the B story. I thought was the more intriguing of the two stories.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny that they're celebrating a 1 month anniversary, but then again, if you think about it, Odo is juvenile in his view of relationships.
For sure.
He doesn't really know any better. This is his first relationship, and if you really think about like your first sort of serious relationships, you did sort of celebrate those like silly milestones, right?
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
We've been together a month, or we've been together 2 months, like, and this is if you follow that trajectory, it makes sense. Now, unfortunately, he's a full ass adult, and so is Kira, so it seems kind of silly, but at the same time, it doesn't.
Can we talk about how two people who are not humans would choose 1920-something Earth? Like, why would they choose Earth, of all places to choose?
They're all in love with...
They always choose 20th century Earth to go back to, because...
Every single character, like,
Paris.
Worf is like, ooh, I'm going to take you to Constantinople before it was Istanbul.
What I'm talking about, they go rail each other in Klingon fights.
Or in Balkan deserts.
Well, like they came out, they're like, no bruises, what's going on?
Are you guys fighting?
They are freaks.
I think it's because Kira looks really good in the attire.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I looked super fly in like, 50s attire, I'd go back there in a heartbeat every time.
She does have the look of like a
a
roaring
20s,
20s.
Yeah, she does.
The 20s flapper.
Yeah, see? Travel back in time, see?
Anyways.
But I mean, if you knew you were like a 5, but like in a certain era you were a 9 or a 10,
you'd go for that.
I would go back there in a heartbeat every time.
You'd lean into it.
Did you just call Kira a 5?
No, if you
I'm saying
knew.
I'm being
if you were a 5.
If you know. Okay.
So,
Next episode?
Yes, I think that was about as much as
much to talk about in that. I mean, it's
it's
a setup episode.
Here's the thing, and I think they've done it a few times in the 6, a few of the 6 because we've had 6 penultimate episodes now, right, for the seasons. I think they've done this at least 3 or 4 times where they have it's like a wet noodle episode, leading into a really good finale.
Right.
It's like they can't just have 2 back-to-back good episodes for the season finale.
And I can tell you that going into this episode, I thought I liked it more than I actually did. I thought, oh, this was a good episode. So I started, and I'm like, oh, this wasn't as good as I thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I just didn't. I don't know. The plot of she didn't have to be 3 years in the past to be dead. They could have killed her in real time, and it would have made. I thought it would have made the conversations a bit more meaningful. Yeah.
Yeah, it was silly.
But it was like this thing, like knowing it happened in the past. I'm like, well, now it seems silly because now I'm trying to figure out like. Now I have to suspend disbelief too much.
Well, what would their feelings be?
Or suspend belief.
Because let's face it, they got there just at that time. Bashir probably could have revived her. Using past Star Trek as your reference, what is the crew's thoughts versus, oh shit, we've been talking to a dead person, versus she died 5 minutes ago?
I would have liked that more if she died 5 minutes ago, because it's kind of like why they are doing what they're doing. Like, it shows the stakes of what they're doing. Yeah. I think her dying made everything they did seem less urgent and less important.
A bit more trivial.
Yeah, and I feel like they would even think that way. Like, nothing we did mattered. Like, we wasted our time. Like, we
It
talked.
was almost like it wasn't even real. Like,
Yeah.
it felt inauthentic or not realistic.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the crew would kind of think the same, similar, no matter which scenario.
I disagree. I think her being alive in real time and them just getting there just outside of the nick of time, I think would have been a bit more
impactful. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here's the prophet.
All right, Tears of the Prophet.
A good episode.
It's time for war, offensive war. We're going after Cardassia. But first, Worf and Dax want to have a baby. This is a big thing. They make a big decision that they're going to have a baby together.
Yep.
So yeah, they decide they're going to have a baby, but before this attack happens, Cisco receives a vision from the prophets who basically say, "Don't leave the station, bro. Stay. And he tells that to the Admiral, and the Admiral's like, "I don't care. You're either a Starfleet captain or you're a prophet. Choose." He picks Starfleet captain. Meanwhile, all of a sudden, we got Dukat showing up, and he's like, "Give me this little statue because it has a Pa Wraith in it. And I'm going to use this bad boy to open up the wormhole and bring in all of our reinforcements." So they open up the statue. Pa Wraith takes over the body of Gul Dukat, who transports to Deep Space Nine as Jadzia is thanking the prophets, thanking the wormhole gods. Sorry, I'm not talking right today. And boom, gets zapped, gets shot, gets killed, dead. She dead! She dead!
Bye.
Cisco is shaken all of a sudden. The prophets are gone.
He's gone.
Kira takes over and they successfully destroy the weapon platforms, but by the time they get back to the station, it's too late. Jadzia has died. He was able to save Dax, but not Jadzia. Ooh. She gets to say goodbye to Worf. She dies. Cisco is like, "I'm out." And he leaves. Washing potatoes in New Orleans. The end.
Was it potatoes or was it oysters?
Was it oysters?
I thought it was oysters.
I think it's oysters.
It probably was. That would make
I think it was Cisco's oyster, or is it because the sign? Didn't the sign say Cisco's oyster?
That would make a lot more
restaurant
sense
in the
for it
back?
to be. Yeah.
I think it was oysters.
It's New Orleans, so
yeah,
that's why I figured.
Yeah,
it's not Idaho.
Creole food.
He didn't go to Idaho. Oh, that's what it was. I think it was Cisco's Creole restaurant. Yeah.
So, what do you think about bringing back that Pa Wraith as a, I mean, this is because of our lovely My Child lady.
My child. Thank you.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at you. I was preparing to have to do it.
Yeah.
Because...
What? Why am I blanking on her name?
Kai Wynn?
Kai Wynn. So, Kai Wynn, this is kind of part of Kai Wynn's issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she opened the door.
She opened the door, and the Pa Wraiths are back, and now, boom, crap hits the fan. Big time. And we killed Jadzia. We killed her.
So where do we want to start with this episode? Because I really do want to dissect the Jadzia
Let's leave
plot
that
point.
for last.
Okay, because I really want to dissect it
without that, because there's some good meat in here.
Yeah,
I think. So let's start with Cisco, his arc throughout this episode. So we've seen him go from a Starfleet captain unwilling to embrace his role as the emissary to
unwilling to be a Starfleet captain. And then here comes the Admiral saying, "We've tolerated this for long enough." Hey, asshole. I know, Nick doesn't swear much on this show.
What?
Hey, asshole.
That's twice.
That's
twice now.
Captain
I want some
Cisco.
butts.
Can we do a shocking to when Nick swears?
Go get some of that rock tequila.
So, hey, Admiral Ross, major asshole. Cisco has saved you so many times, and you're like, "I'm willing to tolerate it." If it wasn't for Cisco, you wouldn't be where you're at with the Bajorans.
They'd have been wiped out.
You would shut your face and let Cisco do his Cisco thing. He hasn't been wrong yet with this emissary stuff.
No.
But I think this is part of the whole Federation thing about, like, the Federation are like atheists and agnostics, right? Like, anything spiritual, they're like, whoa, hey.
That ain't right.
Especially when him wanting to be the emissary sort of conflicts with what they want him to do as Starfleet captain.
Yeah,
Right.
and they don't want that deity thing, and they definitely don't want one of their officers being a deity to a society.
Right.
So they view it as dumb, and therefore one of their guys doing the opposite of what they want.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
So-
really when they take issue with it. Is
Absolutely.
when it goes against what they want him to do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're like, oh, I
They're
guess we
using him
haven't.
as a tool.
Yeah.
He's a
Mhm.
tool to them.
Well, they're subordinate.
I know,
Of
but
course he's a tool.
but the whole point of the Federation is they're not your typical military. Starfleet isn't like
In
a
a war,
military.
they're not military.
Huh?
In a war, they're not a military. In a war, they are a military.
But they're not. They didn't.
I know, but they don't
I mean,
operate like that. They
like a traditional what we know as a military.
Right, that's my point. And then here they are, like where he's like drawing the line.
Because that was the point in the beginning. Starfleet is we're done with being defensive now. We're going to go on the attack. It's like you've done this for so long. Like,
Well, I agree with you. The Federation doesn't do that, but in a time of war, their mentality is going to change.
but it took long enough for it to change. They've put everybody on the brink of losing this war several times before they changed their strategy.
And it's fine that their mentality has changed, but again, Cisco has been one of their leaders, the leader in the quadrant, running the defensive operations, keeping the Federation.
And I agree with you. But do you think a bunch of admirals or
Yeah, they don't care. They're so
ambassadors,
detached from it.
they don't know what the true story is. All they see is there's results, sure, but they have their plan.
And this guy says he had a bad dream.
Yeah, and
that's what.
and you're asking people who don't believe in gods, essentially, to believe in gods, that they're telling this guy that he is a god or part of the gods, to then follow the gods and not follow their commands.
So
God, that's a lot of gods.
God.
So why doesn't Cisco? Okay, why doesn't Cisco just stay on the station though?
Because he at that time he feels like his first duty is as a Starfleet officer.
But
You're a person of faith, right? Have you ever done something as a decision, especially in maybe your younger part of your faith, that maybe went against your religion more so with the way you used to think or the way that's what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, we've spent so many episodes this season him becoming this hardcore believer in being the emissary. I mean, he's destroying priceless tablets of the majority.
He really has leaned into the emissary role hard.
But do you think that he's flawless with that right now? I don't. So naturally, if you're going to question two things that he's been in love with, or one thing he's been in love with and he's known all his life versus one thing that's still new and he's still trying to discover and still trying to get comfortable with, regardless of the fact that he was getting more comfortable with it, I think you naturally lean into the thing you know and that's been there with your entire life.
Right.
Well, yeah, I agree. Put both decisions up, and he's going to choose the one that he knows best.
And he was asking the prophets to say, "Hey, tell me more," and they didn't. So,
yeah,
I mean,
couldn't they have just said, "Hey, we're going to kill Jadzia. Jadzia's in trouble. Can you just stay on the station?"
Or how about this? There's going to be a power wraith, dude. You need you there to kind of handle that situation.
Yeah,
right.
Like you did last time.
Yeah, bro.
Hey, by the way, can you leave your son on the station? We're going to need him.
Yeah.
Why? Nah, no reason. But just
don't ask questions.
Just tell him to stand back.
No, he's like, no, me and my son are leaving the station.
Yeah, we're out. But so that was interesting that they brought him along. I like the whole. It kind of felt a little Star Warsy when the link got cut off and he falls in the chair. He's like, "Oh, my link to the Force has been broken." But I mean, I get why. But it was a little.
I didn't like that part.
Little too science fantasy for me instead of science fiction.
Yeah.
At that moment.
Well, the power wraith is science fantasy. But, yeah.
And then Kira just expertly taken over. I mean, she should be in command all along.
Well, here's the thing. Isn't Worf in command of the Defiant when it's out in the field?
Yeah, he should have been. Oh, wait, no, because she's second ranking.
But isn't he supposed to be one? She's supposed to be second ranking on the station. He's the Defiant. Didn't they establish that earlier?
Maybe this is because it's a time of war, so there's
I'm just asking
something about the chain of command. I don't know.
Yeah.
He gave her the command, though.
Yeah.
At that point.
I agree that it should be Kira in that instance, but it just seems like they established that Worf is the guy on the Defiant.
Yeah, it did.
We got some new information, though.
What?
His middle name is Lafayette.
Yep.
Worf?
Benjamin Lafayette Sisko.
Worf? Lafayette? Worf? That'd be great if his middle name was Lafayette Worf.
That's the first time we've heard his middle name, right?
Lafayette, son of Moog.
That's the first middle name, right?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Benjamin Lafayette Sisko. I like that
That's
middle
an
name.
awesome middle name.
Kirk. Star Trek 6 is the first time I say it.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What is it, Terrence?
No, you'll find out.
James Theodore.
It's Theodore.
Is it?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. That's
Just wait until Montgomery Elvin Scott shows up.
Montgomery Alvin and the Chipmunk Scott.
Yeah.
That's where Theodore comes on. What's the other one's name?
Simon.
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 I loved Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Christopher Pike Medal of Honor.
Yes.
Christopher Pike, nice throwback. Eli was watching it with me. He goes, Strange New Worlds! Strange New Worlds!
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, bro.
I tell Eli I did the same thing. I'm like, oh, I know that.
I know this
one.
I know this
this
one.
one.
And already in Strange New Worlds, you can see why they got a medal named after him. The guy's
The hair.
The
The
hair,
hair
man.
alone
The hair
is a medal.
alone.
hair alone. Oh, it's beautiful.
The
It
hair
is.
alone is worth a Medal of Honor.
Man, the Christopher Pike Hair Medal of Honor.
You know, when he goes on the screen, I go into red alert.
Yeah, me too.
Mm.
His hair, even Lego was like, you did something there. Like, nice job with the hair.
Nice
Lego
job.
was like,
We've never been
Here.
able to
When
do that.
Take
Anson Mount hits the screen, I'm full attention, baby.
Yep.
He's got my full
Standing tall.
attention.
Standing tall.
Yeah. He's a good man.
Yep.
Do you think when they're meeting with the Romulans, that
Oh,
it's
that
hard?
scene was great.
Well, do you think it's hard for Cisco to be around the Romulans right now?
No, because I think it would be if there were people who were like actively involved in that room.
Okay.
But these are all people so detached.
Did either of you catch the very subtle dig at Martok from the Romulan?
Yeah, about the eye.
Yeah, the rage in his eye.
The rage
Yeah.
in his
Singular.
eye.
Yeah.
Singular.
That was Romulans they do such a good job with the Romulans in this show.
It
Next Generation, they were a little too cheesy, menacing. Here, they're just like these cocky, arrogant, like
I was like,
they're
oh,
incredible.
that's good. That's
They're
real
incredible.
good.
They
That's
do-
good writing.
Yeah, the Romulans are fantastic in Deep Space Nine. They did a really good job with them.
And I love Martok.
I thought it was a little over the top during that scene, but yes, I do love Martok as well.
I mean, that fits him though.
Yeah.
He's Klingon. They're over the top warriors. He wants to go in there and kick someone's ass.
Like Worf.
No, but he can actually do it.
I don't know. Worf has two eyes. How many does Martok
Yeah, it's
have?
true.
Yeah,
and guess where Martok lost his eye?
Martok could.
Oh,
Where did Martok lose his eye? Oh, fighting with Jemadar in that prison camp, where Worf didn't.
He didn't lose any eyes.
Scoreboard with the eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just because he has two eyes.
Yeah, he came out of there with two eyes.
Martok is still more
and
badass.
Martok was trying to talk to him. He was like, "Man, you're a badass, dude."
Yeah, but how old
Chill out,
is Martok? Martok is older.
Doesn't matter. That's discrimination.
No, he's a
Ageism. Ageism.
They're Klingons. It doesn't matter. They can live 300 years or 20 years.
He's 1,000 years old.
He's not 1,000 years old.
I
He's
think
800.
Klingons are
Your
like.
mom's 1,000
I
years
think
old.
Klingons live to like 150 or
Your
something
mom's
like that.
1,000 years
Well,
old.
yeah, because the three guys from the original series were on this series.
Right.
So that's at least 100 years.
Yeah,
And they look pretty good.
they do.
Grimm
Alright,
is more of a
To the
warrior than.
losers. James Darren saying, "Here's the losers, the Quarkin."
Oh, that was great.
He celebrated a birthday this year, this year.
Really?
Yeah,
You get one of those every year?
this week was James Darren's birthday.
I dug how
This year.
I dug how Quark is like, I'm gonna be coming back here now. Like he's all about that place now.
I
That was
think he
great
was
to see.
scoping it out. I think he was scoping it out because of the bar, because of the setting. I think he's wanting to make some tweaks to Quarks.
Yeah, maybe. But I did like how they set that up. For a while there, there's always been these subtle hints, and we knew that Quark was in love with Jadzia. We knew that Bashir was, but they kind of put that on the back burner. Every now and then there's like a scene or two.
Yeah.
But like this announcement that they're going to get pregnant is like that realization that, oh my gosh, like it's never going to happen. And I think we've all probably been there at some point in our lives with someone we had a crush on or someone we liked, where it's like, crap, it's not going to happen now. And it's kind
When
of
Kate Upton married Justin Verlander, I was like,
Yeah.
crap, there it goes.
Damn it!
that was it.
That was it.
That was it. It wasn't when she had a kid with him.
No, it was when she got married to him. I'm like, there goes my chance.
See,
Yeah.
I think it was the kid.
Yeah.
I think the kid did it.
No.
Can I? We didn't talk about a small plot point that doesn't have anything to do with anything in this episode,
What
but
is that?
the argument between Odo and Kira.
Oh,
How
yeah.
little sense it made.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was forced.
So it was.
Yeah.
So the thing they're arguing about obviously happens off screen, right? Because it didn't happen in a previous episode.
Right.
And she's pissed about it.
Yeah, that he had.
She's obviously pissed. He tries to talk to her, and he's
You're
like,
arrested a Vedic? Yeah.
And then, did I miss a scene between that and where she comes into his office and she's not pissed about it anymore?
No. I'm going to guess is probably trying to show...
There's probably something on the cutting room floor, but...
Well, there has to be, because...
I think they're just trying to show that maybe Odo's in spiritual relationships and Kira moved on. I'm trying here.
She was pissed.
I get that.
And she comes... Hold on. She comes into his office,
I'm not saying that's right.
And he has... from what I gathered, he has sort of distanced himself from her because given her space because she's pissed. He obviously probably doesn't know how to handle a disagreement in a relationship.
Yeah.
But she was pissed the very scene before that when it was their relationship. She comes in like nothing ever happened. Is this just... Okay, don't kill me. Is this just like a tactic of women, or... Because women do this. And he's going to learn sooner or later.
Hey, in our experience, in our experience, women do this.
Yes, in my experience.
There you go.
In our experience. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And probably most every male listener we have that's ever been in a male-female relationship.
Yeah.
So, have probably experienced this. But it made no sense.
It didn't make a lot. It was
to the point where it was upsetting.
It was actually unneeded. I think
it
was
completely
big problem.
unneeded.
And that to the point where she was like comforting him, like, "Oh, I'm not. Is that what you thought, bitch? Yes, that's what he thought.
See,
like you were 10 minutes ago, you were just super pissed at him. Like, yes, that's what he thought. He doesn't know any better. He's a puppy.
Yeah.
You're kicking the puppy, and you're like, "Why are you upset?"
He could literally be a puppy.
He could.
Oh my gosh, he could literally be a puppy. Could you imagine that? Anytime they get into a fight, just transform into a puppy and it's like, "I'm not mad at you."
Just find out what she's afraid of and just transform into that.
Oh yeah, that's true too. Now that's kind of abuse at that point, isn't it?
It's a little psychological warfare.
So is acting like nothing. So is acting like nothing happened. I mean, that's okay.
How about they're going to invade Cardassia, which you'd think would have a little bit of classified to it, but they're openly talking about with Jake and this person. It's like they're very obviously something's going on at Deep Space Nine. If you're going to invade Cardassia, maybe you want a little bit of secrecy to that.
I know that was,
but it was just kind of all over. Like, hey guys, we're in the promenade.
Hey,
we're going to Cardassia.
Hey, can I go to Cardassia with you, Daddy? Let's sure.
Tell the kids on the station, hey kids, we're going to Cardassia. Let's go.
Don't tell the Cardassians.
Yeah.
Don't tell
them.
Don't tell the Nazis we're going to invade that beach in France. Don't tell them. Okay.
Oh, like, they knew.
They knew. So yeah, that was a little bit weird. I thought the way Ducat came in to the room was a little weird too. Like,
I think it fit Ducat.
I mean, it fits him, but I like where Ewan's like, dude, you batshit, you crazy, you crazy. Yeah, I did enjoy that.
Cray.
The whole time, like he's like, okay, what is wrong with you? The whole time.
I know you don't, but you TikTok, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen the thing where it's like,
TikTok?
You're crazy.
You're crazy girl. You're crazy. Yes, I have. But
gee, you guys are really selling TikTok to me.
Oh my gosh, it's so great.
Listen, I don't TikTok. I like a true adult. I watch Instagram reels of TikTok.
There you go. Yeah,
that are like 3 months old.
Nice.
So, going back with this Ducat storyline, he wants revenge against Cisco more than anything. That's his primary goal: revenge against.
Well,
Cisco.
he blames Cisco for literally everything.
Literally everything, because
from the beginning
he's
until
gone
the death
officially
of his
mad. He's officially he's gone now. So. They go there with the intention of opening the wormhole to let the Dominion in. Instead, it does the exact opposite. It seals the wormhole. And he still justifies it and says, like, this is a good thing because the Bajorans don't have their gods. The Bajorans are so inconsequential to this war.
Yeah.
That is not a good...
Right.
Like, they literally are just recovering after 50 years of being devastated by the Cardassians. They don't have a dog in this fight. And aren't they still on the non-aggression treaty as well? No, they broke that. When did that happen?
When the Federation came back on the station, and they started fighting the Cardassians when they were on the station. Remember resistance cells, Kira.
So the non-aggression treaty is ended with Bajor.
So if you're going we're going World War II parallels here. Isn't this like saying that the Poles had nobody now? Like the Polish people had nobody. You're like, okay, great. Who cares?
No,
like,
the equivalent would be Austria.
Okay.
Austria. Yeah, or wait, no. Neutral. Who's the neutral country? Switzerland. Switzerland. I took it out Switzerland's king. Great. They're not even involved in this. That's going to do nothing.
For Ducat, it's all about the Bajorans.
I know, it is. But, like, the fact that they sat there and heard his argument and are like, oh, he's on to something.
Yeah.
Tells me they shouldn't be in leadership roles either. They clearly don't know what they're doing.
Nobody
knows what they're doing.
Nobody on that side knows what the hell they're doing.
They're just winning by sheer numbers. I mean, that's
funny
what
when
they said.
Ducat was like, well, you were by my side every step of the way with every decision.
And you said yes. Yeah.
And he just casually glazed over that. He's like, oh, next subject.
Yeah, moving on. You're crazy, though.
Yeah.
So, point me. And I have 2 eyes. Oh, wait, so do you. That's Martok.
Oh, Martok.
Poor Martok. All right, so we've talked about all that. Do we get to...
What about it was nice to see the Jem'Hadar suicide runs again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they devastated the Klingon fleet.
Yep.
Like, in just the span of... Man, I love some of those Klingon ships, though. They look intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to mess with those Klingons. And I love how they do a really good job showing the scale of the birds of prey as well.
Yep.
Or, not the birds of prey, the Romulan...
Warbirds.
The Warbirds. Yeah. Do a great job with that. Those Warbirds are massive.
The Warbirds of Prey?
The Warbirds of prey.
I'll be all day. Literally, it's my house.
Yeah. So...
We got jokes in this podcast.
Why is Derek on the bridge?
Because they had to have everybody.
Because they literally had the entire B cast.
Yeah, they had everybody.
Except for Wynn.
Where was Quark?
I know.
Anyone need a drink? Oh, gosh.
I think it involved Cardassia. So,
but he's on the bridge of a ship.
Hey, leave him alone.
She's been on the station watching Jadzia die.
Let him do what he wants. Hey, that's too soon.
Too soon.
Wait, Jadzia died?
Spoiler.
Have we not mentioned...
Let's talk about this. Jadzia's death is one of the most underwhelming deaths in the history of...
Like, totally agree.
Uh-huh.
She's
both scenes.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
She went out like a punk, man. I mean, not like a punk, but like literally...
It was just like the force...
Ducat, dead.
It
was so
unceremonious.
Yes.
And even the way
unceremonious.
And even the way that all the characters reacted was pretty...
Except for Sisko.
Subtle.
Sisko's pretty banged up.
Worf let out a guttural scream.
Yeah, which was pretty cool. I like that. Yeah. But like everyone else is just kind of like I thought Bashir would be a train wreck.
And
well, he's in doctor mode right then. Yeah. So maybe you could separate the two.
Maybe
he was struggling with telling everybody that he was able to save the Dax symbiote.
But that's Kira's best friend on the station.
Right, but I don't like think about Star Trek 2, man. We got this great send off with Spock. They played the frickin'
Now the difference is...
Captain Nemo and the Enterprise died in Star Trek 3.
But the difference here being that those were mutual separations. So Spock wasn't at odds with the crew or the cast or the...
Yeah, he was.
Well, not the production crew.
Just the studio.
But they... I think this was almost, and I don't know this, but this felt intentional.
You thought it was done
like a screw you to her?
Yes, because knowing the backstory, knowing that they had fought for months about.
Let's get Terry Farrell on the show and ask her.
She won't do it. She won't do the show. She won't do interviews.
About it?
She just won't do interviews. They said her people have said she's not doing interviews right now.
Okay.
Multiple times.
Cameo.
Okay.
But, and I can't confirm this, but I would probably believe it has something to do with the way that she left the show. Yeah. And the story is, she wanted a lesser role.
She wanted a reoccurring character. She wanted everybody else.
It was too exhausting.
She probably wanted
to do Becker.
I think she wanted to...
She screen tested for Becker the next day.
Oh.
She wanted to...
So she wasn't on Becker yet.
Oh, I thought she was.
No. I think she wanted to be somewhere between Quark and Garrick.
Yeah.
Right?
Which would have been fine.
But that they wanted her in all 26, which
Isn't necessary.
No.
Which is
Season 6, she wasn't even in a lot of
But
them.
I bet you the real issue is I want to do less and I want to be paid the same. That was probably really the issue.
I don't know. I from everything I've read, I've never read anything that involved monetary discussions.
But I'm sure that
I'm sure it was. But I mean, if you are requesting to be have a lesser role, you've got to be under the impression you're probably going to get paid like that too, or at least
you're gonna get that.
You're not going to get Major Cure. You're not going to get Nana Visitor money or main cast money. You'll probably get some. You'll probably get Armin Shimmerman money.
Armin Shimmerman's the main cast. He gets paid well.
Well, yeah. You're talking.
Yeah, he's Andrew Garrick. You're talking Nog.
Andrew Garrick.
Jesus Christ.
Andy Robinson. I'm sure you'll get paid more than Robinson.
More than Chase Masterson.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just for me nothing ever felt like it was a monetary thing. It was always here's what I want to do. I want a lesser role, and they were pushing it's 26 or nothing. And
which
she
is
said,
so weird.
It
was
seems
an
like
all or nothing for them.
I feel like they could have come to an agreement. And who was it? I think it was Stephen Ira. Is it Bear?
Yeah, Bear.
Bear said that he wasn't. He had no idea that this was going on. Otherwise, he would have.
I can't believe he didn't have any idea.
But they kept the writers out of it. It wasn't a writer.
I don't know, man.
From what I've read,
I don't know.
This is all. I mean, this happened. What
you don't think
25 years ago?
You know, like Rick Berman or Terry Farrell vented something about it to him.
Maybe, but
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I feel like there could have been some sort of compromise they could have come to.
I agree. If adults were in the room,
and I'm not blaming
one or the other. Was it?
I think I'm blaming the studio and production a little more.
Absolutely,
yeah.
But I don't feel like Terry Farrell is without blame here. I think she's. And listen,
she was out of her contract expired. She's not really with a lot of blame.
But I think being stubborn. I think the stubbornness is a little too much on her side. She wanted a smaller role, but could she have taken somewhere in between the 20? She's not going to be in all 26 episodes.
I did read too. There was it wasn't just about that. It was about Rick Berman.
I heard there's a lot of Rick Berman stuff.
Rick Berman was a dog, and he was nasty and like disgusting to her at all times. So it's probably not comfortable being on set.
I didn't read that.
Yeah,
I heard that. I don't think I really read much into that, but I think it's a lot of the studio. I don't think that there's a lot of fault on her necessarily.
Okay, I mean, listen, if your contract is up and you say, hey, for this next season, here's what I want.
Yeah, here I want to renew, but just let me in 13 episodes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess I don't blame Farrell as much at all, probably.
I don't. I can't.
No, because if she wanted half a season,
especially if you know more of the backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew more of the negotiations backstory. I didn't read that Berman was mistreating anybody. But
well, we already know how Paramount really feels about Star Trek Deep Space Nine to begin with, so they obviously were probably lowballing as much as possible. Like, knowing that, all right, because it was probably a case of, do we bring her on as a recurring character and pay her the same amount that we're going to bring on her replacement for to be in all 26 episodes as the regular? It just makes more sense to bring in another regular. In their mind.
I almost feel like they shaved off enough of her character in the last season or so that she's a bit more. She's not too much more than a recurring character now.
Well, I think once the negotiations fell through, or
they started
going,
phasing her out.
Yeah, which makes me believe that Stephen Ira knew something about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, eventually he had to, but I mean,
I don't think we know the whole story. I don't think we'll ever know the whole story.
No.
Yeah.
And
you're gonna get one-sided things from one person to the other.
The truth is probably some sort of marriage of the two.
It's probably 60-40 or 70-30.
I would say it's probably 70-30 or 80-20.
Yeah.
Or even
in the era that this was, I would blame mainly the studio.
Probably.
She had no negotiating, especially as a female. She had no power.
Yeah.
I mean,
wasn't there a rumor that like Rick Berman said you'll never work in this town again or some crap?
Yeah,
like that?
he said that she would be at a Kmart. She'd be working at Kmart.
oh, and she had a nice, successful career with Becker after that. Very successful.
Wasn't she written off Becker too?
She was. She was written off in the final season because they left up at the season finale of one season. She proclaimed her love for him, and she was fighting with this other woman for him. And then the next season, she was gone. She took off.
I would fight for Sam Malone too.
Okay, so the death scene with Ducat, we agree, is
Sucked.
not good. Very weak. What about the death scene where she died? The scene where she actually dies?
I'm okay with that being. There should have been 2 scenes.
I thought it was equally weak.
Yeah, it was good that Worf got to yell
I guess.
because there's a death cry or something like that for
Yeah.
the Klingons.
Yeah.
But it was weak.
Like it was just like okay, she's dead and we're moving on.
Yeah.
And I read that that scene with Worf took a while because she was crying like the whole, like every close up where she was in it, and he was like crying. He was like talking Klingon or whatever. Like there was like tears rolling down her eyes, and it just. I thought the best scene was when Sisko was saying goodbye to her in the casket.
Yeah. That was a great
2 episodes in a row. We have a
Casket scene.
casket scene.
Yeah.
So, Ducat. Who is he the bigger villain to at this point? Sisko, Kira, or Worf?
Right now,
Right now.
probably Worf.
Oh, I'd still say Kira. That's genocide against her people, man.
But killing your wife.
I mean, yeah, I guess
Like, if you're writing the final episode of this show, and you're like, all right, we're going to kill Ducat. Let's just assume we're going to do that. Who do you have kill? If you're writing this show.
Ghostbuster style, baby. All 3.
cross those streams, baby.
So that's the way I look at it. I'm like, who would I, if I were going to off Ducat at the end, who would I have killed? Because
Kira.
who deserves the most?
Kira, because even at that point,
I do side with
I think
Kira.
it's Kira.
But
he was possessed by a pod race, so he could claim it wasn't him.
I could understand the Worf argument.
I think Sisko is the third option.
I think Sisko's the third option.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Sisko's down there.
I definitely think he's built up enough animosity with Kira that it's. I mean, right now, I think Worf is probably 1 at this moment. Like his level of anger is probably greater than Kira's, but in totality, I think it's Kira, Worf, and then Sisko.
Is anybody else on that list?
Not that I can think of. Not right now.
No. Garrick?
Garrick. Where's Garrick on the list?
I think Garrick is above Sisko, too.
I think right now he is.
I think Garrick would be best friends with Ducat if Ducat came to him and said, "You can come back to Cardassia."
No.
I don't think so. I think Garrick would
Garrick
stab him and
hates
kill
him.
I don't know about that.
Oh, whatever.
I don't know about that.
I think it might be the only Cardassian that he wouldn't do that for.
Gentlemen,
Or what's the other guy's name?
Damar.
Damar.
let's move on to rating these episodes so we can look
Okay.
at season 6 here. Okay? So let's start off with pile of,
I like how he says, I didn't think it was terrible. Pile of.
no, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't.
Pile of.
Okay, I want to know what you're going to rate it.
I'm going to give this episode a 4.
Would you consider any episode that gives a 4 terrible? That's a terrible rating.
Subpar. I consider that subpar. 5 I consider average.
Yes.
Remember, he said that for 6 seasons.
Yeah.
Consistent. That's fine.
The
Fair.
sound of her voice.
I'm just making sure.
Just making sure I'm consistent. I get you. I hear you, boo. 4 out of 10.
I did 4.
4.5.
Really?
4.5.
Just-
You ragged on it the most.
Just to be a jerk.
Okay.
It worked. It worked.
I respect that.
It's garbage, but I mean, it's not. I don't know.
Tears of the Prophet.
Ooh. This one is hard. Very difficult to rate.
Yeah,
The episode is. I thought the episode was good. The way that they did Jadzia was very bad.
I don't think this was that great of an episode.
I didn't say it was great. I said good.
I'm giving this one a 7.
Yeah. All right. Oh, I'm gonna go 7 as well. 6.5 is too low. 7.5 seems like I like it too much. 7 is about right.
I don't know. It's a tough one. I've been thinking about it since I watched it last week.
Yeah, I watched this one twice, and
you watched it twice, and you still give this.
Yeah.
I'll go with 7 because I can't.
Yeah.
I'm wrestling with it.
It's the Jadzia stuff is. I would probably give the Jadzia arc probably a 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, they really did her bad.
They did. They did her dirty.
Nobody else got to say. Nobody got. Well, they did get to say goodbye, but it was before when they left. Like Kira said goodbye.
And they're all off screen anyway. All the ceremony was off screen.
But when you kill a main character off a show like this that someone has done for 6 years, you don't do off screen goodbyes with the other main cast.
No, you don't.
That's bush
Is that
league.
every Dex?
You don't do that. That wouldn't be really
I think that's Nicole DeVore.
So, not important. Anyway.
What timing is everything.
I know. But you know what I
Bob's
mean?
watching
Like,
Kids in the Hall while we're trying to record a podcast here.
Everybody should get at least an interaction, an interactive send off on screen.
Something.
Maybe
other than O'Brien. He didn't really have much interaction with her.
I would even give it to him too.
He did it the last episode. If you think about it.
What did he even do in this episode? I forget. Oh, he suggested that they whatever.
Go for the yeah.
I'm blanking.
The power source.
Yes.
Actually, Garrick suggested the power source.
Yeah,
he said how to do it.
Yes. Because I was like, what the hell did O'Brien even do?
Mm-hmm.
Which is what I've been wondering for 6 seasons.
IMDb average for this season was 7.61.
Okay.
Jeez, that's high.
That is
Keeping
really high.
up with the Cardassians average was 6.35.
I think that's more fair.
Well,
what are the high points?
obviously in the Pale Moonlight. Obviously,
Did I give that 10? No. 9.
We all give it a 9.5.
Okay. I thought I gave it 10 this week.
You gave 10 to Far Beyond the Stars.
Yes.
Waltz was way up there. Sacrifice of Angels. Well, remember the first 6 episodes were one.
Yeah,
those are all pretty
good.
high.
Yeah.
Were incredible.
Yep.
See, I would actually argue that after the first 6 episodes, the rest of the season was fairly mediocre.
With
high points.
With high points, yes.
There were In the Pale Moonlight and Far Beyond the Stars are the high points for me.
Inquisition was really was ranked pretty high for us.
Okay.
The Reckoning was up there high.
Oh, Reckoning was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yeah, well.
And that was...
I think that was it, except for...
Waltz. Waltz was up there pretty high, too.
Remind me what...
Waltz is the one where Ducat and Cisco are stranded on the planet, and that's where Ducat really wanted Cisco's approval, but then ended up hating Cisco.
Yes.
And then he goes evil by the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was yeah.
So bad.
Yeah.
So mad.
So yeah, I don't know. This season wasn't great to me. It was good with high points.
When it was good, it was good.
It started off really strong, then it dipped for a long time with little blips of what they could do.
Yeah.
With some really classic, I think some of the best episodes of the series so far were in this season, but as a whole, in totality, I don't think it was as strong as what I think the best season has been 4 so far.
Yeah. I would agree.
I think it's 4, 5, 3, 6, 2, 1.
I wouldn't put 6 that low. I think I'd do like 4, 5, 6, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. I'm okay with that. I mean, once we get...
I mean, we're talking... Yeah, we're...
Once we...
But
I think 4 and 5
are
are...
a duet, and...
Yeah, but you can...
But I mean, come on.
It's not good.
Even I can say that season 1 of DS9 is a vastly different show than season 4, 5, 6.
Oh, yeah.
Very different.
I thought, in the individual episode, duet is
Are you going to last
fantastic.
this tonight?
He's good.
I can last as long as I need to last.
Yeah.
That's not what I heard.
That's not what the wife says.
That's not what you've said on this podcast a number of times.
Especially on Patreon.
I don't know
Oh
what you're
yeah.
talking about.
Sign up for Patreon if you want to hear
You like that? You see what I did there?
I don't know what you're talking about.
how good or bad Nick is or isn't.
I don't know what you're talking about.
In strategic places.
That involve
Strategery.
timestamps.
So I mean, I enjoyed season 6. I enjoy the story arc there. I mean, they've really picked up the Dominion War, which they've needed to do. They teased it for long enough.
Can we end the war now, though? I mean, please.
Well, season 7, so
There's another season to go, man.
Oh, does it have to be a war season? We're on 4th war season.
no, we're on only the second, really.
Yeah, the
No.
second full fledged. It was a.
I know, but it started in 4.
It started 4. It was more of a conflict.
It was a
Then
Cold War.
It started in 3, didn't it? Yeah, it started in 3.
It was
The
a
end of
Cold
3.
War,
Yeah.
and it
But no,
became
end
a
of 2.
hot.
So we're on like so
It was
3,
a
4,
conflict.
5, 6.
It became it went from a Cold War to a hot war at the beginning of season
Yeah, it was
6.
I just
hot.
think we're at 4.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems if they're gonna then stop with then cut out a lot of the filler episodes.
Well, that's why you have streaming.
Can you go and streaming and do like a Dominion War set of episodes? They should do that.
You can put it together.
They
I'm
do that
lazy.
with what did they do that with?
They have box sets for
They've done
special ones.
Seinfeld has done that. On Hulu, when Seinfeld was on Hulu, they had like top 10 episodes, fan
Yes.
favorites. They had character episodes.
It's
They had
Hulu that does that because they
Yeah.
did it for This Is Us as well.
Yeah.
Like here's the Randall centric episodes.
Yes.
Speaking of boring.
Oh, I love This Is Us.
what? This Is Us.
This Is Us had one of the better
Boring.
series finales that I've ever seen on television.
I was
show.
told that the penultimate episode was better than the finale.
Penultimate was good. I mean, it was a nice metaphor. She was walking on a train to her death,
Yeah.
basically. I mean, it was good.
Who died?
The main
Come on.
character. The mom.
Mandy Moore.
Oh, okay, thank you.
She dies of this Alzheimer's.
She gone.
Star Trek released box sets of specific collections, which I have 2 of them in my garage.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have a Dominion War collection?
I don't think so, but they have.
Oh, it's Deep Space Nine. Of course not.
Yeah, they're not going to put just DS9 out there.
Speaking of, I bought this book at
No one cares, Joe.
what is it? What's the name of the book? The
No one
comic
cares.
book store that we go to in Plymouth.
Oh, State of Comics.
State of Comics in Plymouth has a
Plug
nice.
'em.
Yeah, State of Comics in Plymouth. Awesome comic book store. They have a nice little book section. They had this Star Trek Next Generation book, and I was flipping through it, and the name of the book is Star Trek Next Generation: The Battle of Beta Z.
Which means it's set during.
And it says this novel takes place approximately 2 months after the events of Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode Tears of the Prophets, and a few months before the events of Star Trek Insurrection.
There it is.
And I'm like, I only bought it because it takes place after, so now I want to read it. I'm going to read it in between. Well, if I can find a week, time in a week to read this
There you
book,
go.
but I want to read it before season 7.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Word.
Even though I don't know the characters.
The bird's
next
the
gen,
word.
but
Yeah, I'm sure you could pick it up.
Well, gentlemen, season 6 has been a fun ride, but onward and upward to season 7.
Did
Yes.
you know that Terry Fairley used to sign her stuff onward and upward?
I did.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
is that what you said it?
Mm-hmm.
It is not.
Nice.
It is.
Well, look at you. That's good.
That's a nice cut. I like it.
We are pro Terry Farrell
I tried.
on this episode.
We are.
Or this
I love
podcast.
Terry Farrell. She's incredible.
You know what else we are pro?
Pro calling us and leaving us a voicemail?
Yes, we are pro interaction with our fans or listeners. We probably don't have fans.
Probably, I don't know.
We have listeners.
Yeah.
We don't have fans.
Well, I think we have 5 or 6 of them actually.
Oh, we do.
Only fan.
You know what? Yeah. Well, you know,
Lonely fan.
lonely fan.
Thank you. Thank you.
But
Trademark.
you know where we have actual fans?
Patreon!
Patreon.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got our new Patreon. We're excited about that. We're going to record a Patreon episode tonight.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah, so
And it'll be out probably by the time heads hit pillows tonight.
Yes.
that's the goal. That's the goal.
Always.
So I'm going to go home and I'm going to cut everything together and I'm going to upload it and boom, we're going to be done. Because
Boom.
I'll have 3 things to upload.
Bingo, bango.
Bingo, bango, bongo.
Yes.
Bingo,
But if you want to
bango.
call us and tell us what a great job we're doing and that we should not quit, or tell us where we should go with the show after season 7,
Yeah, because
because
told you.
we are all out of ideas.
I've told you.
Yeah, no idea.
We have no
I've
ideas.
told you where we're going. We're not talking about this. Because you know where we're going.
We have no ideas.
Highway to Battlestar Galactica.
I've never heard of it.
If you want to call and tell Nick how good of a singer he is,
Highway to
Or tell them to shut up.
you can call
Galactica.
734-494 734-494-0980.
Call
That's our
us.
phone number.
Please do.
734-494-0980. And please, please, please rate and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. It helps get the word out to other people.
Make fun of us too, but still give us a good rating.
Yeah, if you're gonna make fun of us, at least leave us a 5-star rating, and then just shred us in the comment.
Have at it.
Yep.
Find us on Instagram,
keeping_up_Cardassians.
Twitter at Cardassians Pod, Facebook, Keeping Up with the Cardassians Podcast,
YouTube, Keeping
YouTube.
Up with the Cardassians. You can see our pretty faces,
Yeah.
or at least Joe's pretty face. Nick
No.
and I's. Well, my sub-average and Nick's average.
You still see the mustache.
Bye.
We're gonna keep talking until he mutes me. You mute me yet? Oh, you didn't. Oh, that's wonderful.
That was an eye roll.
Usually he mutes me by now. I'm just talking.